So for today's video, you need your fabric, your tape, your chalk, your scissors, and your ruler. Okay, so this is it. My fabric is unfolding to 4. That's 2, 3, then the last layer 4. Alright, so I'll be working with length 59 inches. Then I'll mark it on this other side as well. Alright, so you see this side is the side that is opened. It does not have zip at the back. Alright, so for my shoulder is 15 inches. Divided by 2 will give me 7.5 plus half an inch sewing allowance will give me 8 inches. So I mark 8 inches here. Then from here, I'm going to add half an inch to that 8 inches. So making 8.5. So I'm going to mark 8.5 on this side. Then I'll come down here also and mark 8 inches again. Then I'll connect the 2 points together. So my bust measurement is 38 inches. Divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5. So my sewing allowance is ½ inch, but I'll be adding 1 inch to it because I don't want it to be tight. Alright, so I mark it here. Then also I'm going to be adding 0.25 to it again. Okay, I don't want it to be tight at all. Then from this point, I'm going to mark 5 inches downward. Then I'll mark the same measurements on this line as well, which is 10.75. Okay. Alright, then my half length is 17 inches. Plus half an inch sewing allowance at the upper part, making 17.5. So I'm going to be marking 17.5 here. Then I'll extend the line outward. So I'll be connecting this point here to this other line here, but before then I'm going to be marking 20.5 inches. Okay, what I have unfold into 4 is 82 inches. Okay, so I'm going to be marking 20.5 from here till I get to the base of my dress. Okay, so I'm done with that. Then the neck width I'm working with is 3 inches. So this is 3 inches here. Then the neck depth I'm working with is 3.5. Then I'll come here and so I mark 3.5, then connect the points together. Then I'll draw my curve. Okay, for the neck depth, I'll be working with 1.5 inches. And connect it like that. So for the shoulder, I'm going to come down by ½ an inch first, then the other ½ an inch. Okay, then find what is left. Here I have 7.5 divided by 2 will give me 3.75. Then I'll come in by ½ an inch, then connect it to this point, then connect my bust measurement to the point as well. So I'm going to measure the armhole curve now. So what I have here is 10.5. Alright, so I'm going to be drawing the shoulder slope now. Okay, so I'm done with the neck area. Alright, so I'm going to be shifting the fabric towards me. So You guys can see what I'll be doing on this side. Please ignore the noise underneath, it's raining, okay? So the next thing is to connect these 2 points together. So that's it, okay? Then I'm going to join these points to it, but with a curve. I don't want any sharp edges, okay? So make sure it's a curve. And I'll be connecting all the sides marking together with straight line. All right, so I'm done with the markings. Then the next thing is to cut it out. So be careful, you'll be cutting the back neck first. So that is it. Then I'm going to remove the inner panel. All right, that's going to serve as the back panel. Then I'm going to cut out the front neck line out. I'm going to cut it out now. So I'm going to mark the inner panel, the wrong side of it, okay? Then for the armhole, I'll measure what I have for the armhole. So what I have altogether here is 11 inches, but minus half an inch for the shoulder joining, making 10.5. So that is what I'll be using for the sleeve. So I'm going to set this aside, then cut the sleeve next. So for the sleeve length I'm working with is 22 inches. I'll add 1 inch for the folding allowance at the hem, making 23 inches. Then half inch for the joining of the sleeve to the shoulder, making 23.5. Then I'll approximate it to 24 inches. So I'm going to mark 24 inches here and on this other side as well. Then I'll connect the points together. All right, so from the upper part here, I'll come down by 4 inches. Then I'll connect. Okay, so from here I'm going to be measuring the 10.5 inches. So what I have here is 11.2. So I'm going to mark half inch inward. Then measure it again till I get the 10.5 I'm looking for. So now I have it. So I do not want the sleeve to be fitted. All right, so for the down part here, I'm going to be marking 7.5. Then connect to the point up there. So that is it. Then I added half an inch to it because I feel like it will be tight somehow, and since it's going to have elastic band, so it's better to just make it a little bit free more. So the next thing is to cut it out. Then notch. Okay, so I'll be marking the wrong side here, the wrong side here as well, and I'm going to set this aside. So the next thing is the belt. All right, depending on how long you want it to be, what I have on fold here into 4 is 50 inches. All right, so I'll be cutting 5 inches with each for the two side, so each belt is going to be 50 inches long. Okay, so I'm marking 5 inches each now for the two belts. Okay, so by the time I fold it and join it, I'll be left with 2 inches width. So you can make your belt longer than that or not up to that, depends on you. So this is for the two belts, the wrong side. I'm going to set this aside as well. Then for the neck facing, so I'm going to measure 9 inches upward. Okay, then I'll place the back panel first on it to trace it out. So that's for the back panel. Then I'm going to be placing the front panel on it as well and trace the neckline out. Okay, so that's it. So for the neck facing, the back one, I'll be marking 6.5 inches downward for the back, then 3 inches, then I'll cut it out. Although I later changed the front facing to 2 inches width. Okay, so I remove the back panel, the neckline for the back panel, then cut out the neckline for the front panel. So this is it. Then I'll mark the wrong sides. Okay, then I'll set it aside. Then the next thing is to start sewing. So for the facing, I ironed stay onto them, then I went ahead to weave them. All right, so I'll be joining the front panel first. This is for the back panel. I'll set it aside. Then for the front panel, so this is the wrong side, then the right side. So I'm going to be placing my facing onto the right side, then I'm going to secure it with pins. So I'm going to be joining with 0.25. So this is it. Then I'll remove all the pins, then notch. Okay, so after that I'm going to top stitch. So I'll be pushing this side, I'll be pushing it to the facing. The joining is going to be pushed to the facing side, then I'm going to top stitch. Okay, so after this I'm going to take it to the ironing table and give it a good press. So I'm done. So I'll pin it down on the shoulder. So this is it after ironing. So now I'll be joining the back panel to the front panel. So this is it. Then I'm going to secure the panels together with pins. Okay, now I'm done and I've fixed the facing onto it as well. And the shoulder, I'll be joining the shoulder together with 1/2 inch. Then the neck still remains 0.25. So for the opening at the back, I have marked the points and have secured them together, as you can see, with pins. Alright, so I've marked the opening points. I ironed it to give it a so the depth I'm working with is 4.5. So that's for the neck, and we are done. So I'm going to notch, then I'll open this side up, then half an inch to the down part. I'm going to stop half an inch away from it, then I'll start notching like so. Then reduce the amount of fabric on that point on this side as well. Then also this point, reduce the amount of fabric so it can lay very well. Then I'll do the same for the other side as well. So that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and weave the shoulder, then give it a good press. So this is it. All right, so the next thing I'll be joining is the sleeve. So I'm going to pin the sleeve together with the fabric. So this is it. Then I'll be joining it with half inch. So this is it. I'll remove the pin and take it to the overlocking machine to weave it. Then after that, I'm going to join the sides. So this is me joining the sides with half inch from the sleeve. So here, when you get to half an inch to the end of the fabric on that side, so you're going to turn your machine, then get one of your belts. Okay, the joint side of the belt will be facing down. Okay, so you place the belts like this, make sure it's sitting well, then you continue joining with half inch. Like so, till you get to the hem of the dress. All right, so I've done the same thing for the other side as well. So I'm going to go ahead, notch this point, the curve part, notch it, then take it to the overlocking machine and weave it. So for the hemming at the down part, I'm going to be folding with 1 inch, so half inch, half inch. So I'm done with that. Then for the sleeve, I have 18 inches on fold like this in total, so 9 inches each for the elastic. So I'm going to be placing 1 inch on both sides. I'll be placing it on each other, then I'll be stitching in 2 places. I'll double stitch, then move to the other side also. Do the same thing. Alright, then I'll do the same thing for the other elastic as well. So I'm done. I've trimmed off the threads off, and I've weaved this part as well. So I'm going to place my elastic like this, then I'll be folding in 0.75 inches, 0.75 inch in, then I'll be stitching it down. So after I'm done fixing the elastic to the sleeve, I'm fully done with the sewing part as well. So I'm going